my question is, what do you see Singapore's women's future?
Well, I think this depends on society's attitude. As a government, of course, we say men and women are equal. Your future is what you make of it. There's no glass ceiling at all in the government service or in political service. There's no glass ceiling to a woman who one day, we hope, can aspire to become Prime Minister of Singapore. It all depends on the ability. But society's attitude is different. In our Asian society, most men still expect the wives to do the bulk of the housework. So can we change the attitude that the men got to do their fair share of housework, they got to look after the children and allow the wives from time to time to have her own times, to have her own social interaction and so on. That is a bit harder to change, but I see that changing. I think younger Singaporeans now, they have an easier relationship with their wives, and they all look after their family together. And many of them, weekends, they actually spend time together. Whereas in the old days, the men would just go out and do their own things, leave things to the wife. So, having said that, at this stage, and looking into the future 10, 20 years down, I still think our women are actually shouldering much more responsibility than the men, because they want to work. They want to work, then they have a family to look after, then they got a husband to look after. But very importantly, very often it's women who look after the parents. The men look after, but normally the men just go there, look around. That applies to me. I can say so. Look around, you pretend to help. But it is your sisters or your wife who do all the heavy lifting. We do the light work, you see.
All right.
We do the driving maybe, you see, but this is the attitude where we've got to change, and get the men to understand that, we are in this together. It's a family unit, and therefore the women, modern women, they can be good housewife, working housewife, and they can have a life of their own, and that would be a better Singapore for us.
I wonder how we can make our young men strong again.
I think soft is not quite the right adjective. I would say not hungry enough. Because we know, say, from young men serving in national service, they may go in, not very tough, but they are not soft. See. They stand on their own when they have to do exercises with other foreign troops. That's what the defense minister tells me. Because we have joint exercises with Americans, with Australians, and so on. Our young men, national service people, they are tough. They can take it, you see. So soft will give the wrong impression. In this case, even for this man not taking on this job, I don't think he's soft. He's not hungry enough. And why is that so? It's the method of market forces, supply and demand. In China, that man has got no other jobs to go to. There are 600 million people competing with him for jobs. I'm assuming just about half population in the workforce. They have 1.2 billion people, 600 million in the workforce. Whenever there's a job, thousands of people apply for that job. See? So, therefore, the young men got to take all the rebuke from the boss, got to work very hard. Otherwise, the $800 job is gone to somebody else. See? So, supply and demand. More workers than jobs available to them. In our case, because they have done so well, every year we're creating 50,000 jobs. We only have about 30,000 inflow into the workforce. People have choice. So what is the solution? Well, maybe just a bad dose of government, and then you have unemployment for 5-6 years. Then Singaporeans will feel hungry. But you want that. But the answer is no, because our job is to make sure that we continue to grow. And if we do so, they got a choice. Yeah. What can we do? We all have a problem. We all got a problem because people have a choice. So you cannot, therefore, just compare Singapore's situation with China's situation. What is the solution for you? Well, I think it goes back to productivity, to paying them well, and so on. It's tough. It's tough. So I come back to the very first part of my dialogue. See, that moving forward, raising expectations, better educated Singaporeans, a new leadership, can we lead Singapore forward? which is why you ask this question, what is Singapore's future?
Yeah.
You know, which is also my question, what is Singapore's future? So I'm saying, look, if we do certain things, got the right strategies, our future remains bright. You see.
The crux of the matter is we are too small an island. I think we should start looking at buying islands around.
Because when you try and appeal to the people, you got to hit the right note. And you can offer 3 or 4 things, but one of them had hit the right note and people supported you. But as to your serious suggestion, in today's context, it's not possible because it's not that we do not want to buy, but the leaders of another country will find it impossible to sell any islands off. Impossible, you see. Even though it's of no use to them. For example, you know, sand, which is of no use to them, lying at the bottom of this ocean, they won't sell us. Because the political opponents will say, you're selling off our tanah, you know, our sovereignty. So they find it very difficult in today's context, you know, for a leader to say, I sell an island. That leader, I think, will be easily voted out by in the election. And if you have somebody very strong, even as strong as President Suharto, he also would not be able to consider such an idea. See? But your point is, you have to buy from neighboring countries. You can buy from outside. Where? See? Can you recommend a good place? No, I mean seriously. Oh, where? Australia? Would they sell you something? No. But Australia may be prepared to lease you long-term basis, say 60 years, a piece of land somewhere, you know, in the Western Australia, where they have large chunks of land. Then they can argue that we are not selling off territory to Singapore. We are leasing land to our farmers, but instead of our farmers to lease to Singapore. And there will be restrictions. You can do certain things, but you can't do other things. But then you're subject to their laws. It is not a separate country. Then when the time comes for Singapore to migrate there, they say, sorry, you can't come. You see, you're not Australians. In other words, what I'm saying is, the idea is not politically practical or feasible. Well, but you have been proven right, you know, over 2 issues, so who knows? But if you ask me now, I think it is not feasible. As an idea.
Yeah. So with that, I think with SM Goh talking about 5 challenges facing Singapore and the 7th strategy, personally, I think I learned much there. And FM, is there any more concluding remarks?
Well, I think my remark will be, you know, this is a kind of forum that you want to hold regularly. In my case, of course, it's more general, but it's useful to invite ministers to focus on specific topics of concern to you. And for it to be relevant, in future, a second such forum. You don't need to have 9 months. No, I'm serious. 4 months to 5 months, so that the topic is more relevant. 9 months, you choose a topic, then by the end of 9th month, that topic might be less relevant. So you choose one where people feel very hot about that topic and they want to learn more. I would say education is something which is worthwhile to have a deep discussion. Health may be less important because it's a question of subsidies, you know, how much you spend and so on. But education is a very important part. You see. And of course, the economy is always very important. So finance minister, education minister, even defense. Even defense, you know, I think it's worthwhile having a defense minister to come. If you have such idea, I can pass the word to my colleagues that one of these days, you know, then we be invited. And please say yes, and not say no.
Okay.